Hey cruisers, this is part 2 in our Pack With Me and Organize My Cabin series. Today we're on Regal Princess and we are going to be showing you how we keep everything organized. Be sure you go back and watch our Pack With Me video, which I will link to. Let's get started with the cliffhanger. Where we left off on the last video is what luggage did we ultimately decide to bring and what am I going to do with it? We actually ended up bringing 3 level 8 suitcases. We brought the Voyaguer with these awesome wide handles, and we brought 2 of the Graces. One of them is already under the bed. So let's put these puppies right under the bed to store. Let's keep them out of the way. That's one of the best things that you can do as a cruiser, is just get your luggage out of the way immediately. Let's see if there's enough room on this side. I think that there is. Might take a little shimmying and a little shifting, but we can do it. Voila. We've got our luggage out of the way, and we're going to walk around and give you some tips on how to keep your cruise cabin relatively organized. I don't want it to be like a fussy thing, right? Ultimately, there's going to end up being stuff everywhere, but here's just some tips and tricks for keeping things kind of off of the major surfaces. The first thing we like to do is kind of dedicate different areas to different people. So our son, he can keep his stuff here. He's actually got his clothing and things in here, some books and stuff like that. So that's his dedicated little area next to his sleeping quarters. Now we're going to shift over here to the vanity, because this is actually a really big vanity. I feel like we've been very, very lucky to have all of this space. And in some cruise cabins, you might be a little bit more limited. So hopefully some of these tips and tricks will help you out. One of the things that you might want to do is bring some kind of USB charging hub. Now I know that cruise lines are confiscating power strips more and more these days, but usually something like this will work. And of course, we'll link to one of these down below. But this is just a really nice way to ensure that you have plenty of space to charge your USB. And if you have limited USB, like we do in this room, we're on Regal Princess, there's no USB, only 2 AC units. That's going to be a good thing for you. Another thing that you can do to save some space is if you brought some pens and pencils and things like that, you can put them into one of your drinking glasses, kind of get them out of the way. I like to do that with some sticky notes next to it in case I want to leave like a note for my room steward or my family, tell them where I've gone, or hey, maybe you need some extra towels or some ice. It's just nice to have those sticky notes there. So this area can be used for a lot of different storage. We have our phones, our cameras, stuff like that up here. We also brought with us on this one a traditional non-surge power strip, and we were able to get this on Princess Cruises with no problem. They didn't seem to have an issue. It has some regular additional outlets for our laptops and also some USB here. And as well, we brought one of these iOS chargers, I guess you could call it. This one charges an iPhone and an Apple Watch simultaneously, and these are really, really nice to have if you have, if you're in the Apple ecosystem. They're really cool. Up here, I also have a number of different kind of fancy Ziploc bags filled with things like medications, Band-Aids, hand sanitizing wipes, and stuff like that. Now this drawer right here, I have made into sort of the hair drawer. This is where the hair dryer lives. I've got my curling iron in here, my hairbrush, some cables, and some paperwork. I like to keep paperwork out of the way, so I've been putting the paperwork kind of slowly over here. We're going to move over here to this little station on the wall. Show you guys some good tips for keeping things off of those countertops. If you have limited space, bring some magnetic hooks with you, and you can hang things like hats and stuff like that. We also have a downloadable of this wall mount itinerary that you can customize very easily. So I'll link to that for you. But these magnetic hooks are really strong. They hold quite a bit. On here I have some jewelry. I have an empty backpack. I have a hat. These are pretty awesome. Now, we've been lucky in this room to have a couple of side tables next to the bed. And if you do have a side table in your stateroom, utilize the drawers in there for things that you would normally use next to your bed. So for example, over here, I have my Kindle, I have my reading glasses. Inside the drawer here, I have some cozy socks. I have a sleep mask. A lot of times I will also in this area put a bunch of $1 bills for tipping room service, just to keep them relatively close to the door but out of the way. But this time I did a little different. Let me show you what I mean. We have this little kind of floating shelf, I guess you could call it, in this room. So I took another one of the bar glasses. I put some $1 bills and some hand sanitizing wipes in it. So when we do our drink orders or room service orders, I can quickly tip. And then I'm just using the station for my morning coffee cup. And everybody's sunglasses and medallions go here. So when we get back in at night and we don't need our medallion on anymore, everybody just kind of throws their medallion down right there. And then when we get up in the morning and we go to breakfast or go get coffee or whatever, we know exactly where that is. This particular room, we got lucky and we had an existing hook on the wall. You can see that there's just like a metal hook. So this has been holding my heavier bag, just leaving my shore day bag packed and right by the door, because how convenient is that? So bravo to Princess for giving you a little hook that actually made things really nice. Okay, let's take a look at the closet. Now, I want to show you some of the things we ultimately ended up bringing with us in the way of clothing, because in my pack with me, I had told you, okay, we're packing light here. What are we actually going to bring with us? So I'm going to show you now what we ended up bringing. We'll start with my husband. He brought the 3 dress shirts that I showed you in the video. All of these are from Amazon, and I have links for all of them. They've been working out great. They've been staying pretty wrinkle-free, and he's been liking the fact that they keep him cool because the ship has been running a little bit warm. And he also has some flat front Amazon Basic slacks that work for both formal nights and also just for kind of like, you know, business casual or smart casual nights. Junior, he's been doing great with this little suit I told you about that I got at Target. And I ended up bringing a couple of cover-ups. These have both been awesome. I have a photo of this one on our Amazon storefront from when I wore it in Tortola, and this was cute, you guys. I love this one. That was a win. And this one that I bought at Macy's a few years ago has also been great. Also coming in so handy and so versatile, my rompers from Amazon worked out fantastic. And a few things that I haven't really worn yet, but this dress made the cut from Amazon. This I'm gonna wear for my second formal night. And then a few other items that are kind of tucked farther back that I brought with us. So that was good. Now I'm gonna give you a look really quickly down here at how we're storing our shoes. And while we're down here, notice where I put the hamper for this particular cruise. I kind of put it all the way back here at the end of the closet so that there's room for our shoes. And then any longer dresses or my robe and stuff, most of them I put at the end of the closet so that this area kind of stayed free for shoes. Now let's take a look at the sort of the shelving area and the safe, and I'll show you guys how we use this space and how we organized. My husband's backpack is in here. This is mostly just camera equipment, stuff like that. Over to the left of the safe, this is where I've been storing my purses. I ended up bringing a couple of cute Amazon purses with me. I decided to bring 2, one a little bit dressier because this is such a long cruise, and then one a little bit more casual here for daytime use, and they've both been fantastic. So maybe I'll separate them out, put one on either side. And then what we did is with our packing cubes, we really just kind of left those packing cubes sort of packed and opened up the flap, and things are just kind of, you know, easy to access. I've got my jewelry roll in here, and there's tons of space. So I've been really happy with this. Now let's take a look inside the restroom, and I'll give you some tips for organizing and tell you what I brought. And then we also have a full toiletry shopping list on our Amazon store, in case you're wondering. These packet flat type toiletry bags are really nice to hang on the back of the door. This just has a variety of knickknacks in it: tweezers, floss, hair accessories, little things we don't use all the time, but we want to have close, we kind of put here. Moving on in, I'm using those bar cups that we have in the room for things like toothbrushes and also for things like makeup brush storage. This is such a wonderful way to leave things out and easy to access without having to fumble through your makeup bag and stuff like that. So that's a really good tip or trick for you if you're looking to kind of maximize that vertical space. It's a really good way to go. The new TSA cosmetic bags worked out so great, you guys. These are wonderful. These are the ones that are like half padded, they kind of match my carry-on bag, and they're half TSA approved. I've just been leaving the majority of my flat makeup items, like my shadow palettes and stuff like that, right inside that and leaving it on the counter, and it's been working out awesome. So that's how we do it. That's how we try to keep things kind of relatively orderly in our cruise stateroom. I hope that some of these tips were applicable to you and that it was a good complement to the Pack With Me video that we did before this. There's lots of Caribbean cruise packing tips in that video, and we also have a Caribbean cruise do's and don'ts with packing list down in the description of this video, so be sure to go check it out and leave your stateroom organization tips in the comments of this video. Until next time, we'll see you on the high seas.